was the 100-day mark a couple months ago, 3 months ago. We all gave our grades. Right now we're approaching, I think, almost 200 days. That's going to be next week. This was in the thick of the trade stuff. The economy wasn't doing as good. We were kind of collectively in the C range, give or take. But now, I think universally you're right, Vinny.
I did.
We're closer to an A.
Yeah.
Where were you at the 100-day mark? Where are you at the 200-day mark?
At the 100-day mark, I was at an...
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel. Yesterday, Scott Jennings joined Patrick Bet-David on the PBD Podcast, and what followed was a brutal takedown of one of people like Bill Maher and the mainstream media's favorite myths, that Trump's trade strategy is an absolute disaster. Scott Jennings and Patrick Bet-David broke down Trump's massive new EU deal, and it's such a win, even Bill Maher had to admit Trump was right. Scott Jennings has been on the front line of this debate for years, so I'd imagine times like these, it's extremely satisfying for him when even his critics are forced to face facts. Anyway, let's watch Scott Jennings dismantle the narrative, one brutal truth at a time. Let's go.
To it. Reporter asks, are you open to doing better than 15%? This is the best answer. Go ahead, Rob.
Can you do better than a 15% tariff rate for the EU?
Better meaning lower?
Yeah.
No.
Mr. President,
That's good parenting.
The power of no.
That's good parenting. This is the greatest parenting lesson you can get. Can you give me the ice cream? No. I cannot. Great parenting advice. I'm just telling you. That's the way you do it.
And Rob, this is the CNN.
montage.
Okay, go for it. Go ahead.
Reviews are in on the new trade deal announced with the European Union. The Financial Times says the deal marks a victory for Trump.
is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump?
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
Isabel, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order.
I, along with probably most people, were saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. Mm-hmm. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So,
Scott, what do you think about this?
Well, all April, I sat through panel after panel after panel, being assured that the market was going to collapse. We were going to have a recession, that, just like Bill said, the economy was going to be in free fall. We did constant coverage, frankly, the stock market every day, it had a dip. And there's little coverage now of the record highs in the stock. It went down. Now it's at record highs. The market has actually responded to it. But the narrative was tariffs must be bad, and we will tell you how it's going to be bad. They didn't bank on Trump being right about leverage and the fact that every other country in the world wants access to the American market. He had leverage, and these trade relationships needed to be rebalanced. They needed to be rebalanced. The energy sales in this are huge. $750 billion in energy. Mm-hmm. They're buying it from us. Guess who they're not getting it from? Russia. Terrific. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Well, the military pipelines got blown up.
The military equipment, Europe has underinvested in its military for decades. That's a good thing. Agriculture and automotive, those are the two commodities that industries that the president thought would benefit the most from this. So, you couldn't get American cars in Europe. Now, we're going to have a 0% tariff on American cars go in that direction. That's a good thing for people who make cars in the United States. He knew he had leverage. And there was a quote in the Financial Times. One of the ambassadors said, he figured out exactly what our pain threshold was. That's their quote. That is their quote in the Financial Times. And one of the EU, he figured out what our pain threshold was. That is a good negotiator. How much pain can I inflict and still get the deal I want? Maximize my leverage. That's what he did. Even the people who hate Trump are admitting it. Great deal for America.
I love it.
There it is. Even Bill Maher has to finally admit it. I I really do respect when people admit that they were wrong. He said it. Trump's tariffs didn't tank the economy. Stock markets at record highs. We're not in a depression. But how great was it that the guest he was talking to was Brian Tyler Cohen, who probably can't even believe he's on Bill Maher's show, which good for him. But he's just having to sit there and listen when I know he doesn't agree with anything Bill was saying because it's logical. That's not how guys like Brian Tyler Cohen think. That's not a minor concession from Bill Maher. That's someone who's spent, 8 years mocking Trump, now being forced to face the scoreboard. If you watch his channel regularly, you know I cover Scott Jennings once in a while. Think about it. If you've watched those videos with me, he's sat through so many panels where everyone at CNN there said the world was ending. Every time a new Trump trade deal came up, they predicted the catastrophe. But look what's happening. Deals after deals keep landing. Like really good deals. The economy keeps climbing. Markets are hitting historic highs. Inflation's easing. And American leverage, as Donald Trump said it would, is paying off. But CNN and MSNBC don't run correction segments. They just kind of quietly move on and just really hope that you forget what they said the week before. Back to it.
Scott, what do you think is going to happen August 1st? Because that was sort of the tariff deadline. You know, they just struck this deal with the EU. They cut a deal with Japan. There's other things in the works. We're 3 days out.
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
So Besson is meeting with his Chinese counterparts in Sweden this week. So obviously you're looking for news on that. That's a big one. Look, there's about 17 to 20 countries that make up the bulk of our trade. Everything else is very small. And so, you know, my anticipation is there'll be more announcements. And, you know, maybe if you're close on somebody and you don't get it done by August 1st, maybe you give them a week reprieve or whatever. But I think for the 17 to 20 countries that matter the most, he's looking to get it right. And for the rest of the world, they want to come to the table, fine. If you don't, fine. You're going to have to face the consequences. We have all the leverage. You know who looks stupid in all this is Canada. Canada looks stupid in this. All these other countries
that's just what Canada does.
They're cutting deals. We're doing deals with the EU. We're doing things all over the world at this point, and Canada feels left out to me right now. They need to reevaluate their position. We mean more to them than they mean to us.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when they see things like the EU deal and maybe we finish up the negotiations with China, maybe they're going to rethink their position. I think they're acting out of emotion and not out of the realization that we mean more to them than they mean to us.
Scott, what grade would you give Trump at this point? Because when it was the 100-day mark, couple months ago, 3 months ago, we all gave our grades. Right now we're approaching, I think, almost 200 days. That's going to be next week. This was in the thick of the trade stuff. The economy wasn't doing as good. We were kind of collectively in the C range, give or take. But now, I think universally you're right, Vinny.
I did.
We're closer to an A.
Yeah.
Where were you at the 100-day mark? Where were you at the 200-day mark?
At the 100-day mark, I was at an I, which was incomplete for the reason that you mentioned. So the results of things hadn't yet occurred. Now, I was at an A+ on immigration because at that point, we already knew the border was effectively closed, and we knew that was working. I was also at an A on his engagement in foreign affairs. I could see where he was headed and trying to settle these issues. But on the economic stuff, it had just happened.
Yeah.
It had just happened. They had not passed the big, beautiful bill, but it was in negotiation. The tariffs had just been announced. Now look where we are. The tax cuts are permanent. We have generational welfare reform. We have deals being cut. The market has responded. Countries are investing in the United States. I mean, in my home state of Kentucky, GE announced they're bringing 800 jobs back to Kentucky. Why? Because the CEO said, well, the current tariff environment makes it so we can reshore 800 jobs back to our plant in Kentucky. So it's clearly working. I voted for all this. This is what I voted for. This is what I voted for. The only thing that I wish they had done better in the first 6 months is a better PR effort on the Doge situation. I like what they're doing, which is going around and finding objectively stupid things and cutting it. And the rescissions package that they passed was a good thing. They need more. I wish there had been better PR around that, but the principles and impulses are correct. So I'm at an A+. This is what I voted for. I voted for this. I wanted this. Most Republicans, his numbers among Republicans are over 90%. Nobody that voted for this as a Republican is unhappy with it.
How about you guys? What letter grade do you give President Trump this far into this term? I give him an A, so I'll start us off. Anybody who's still listening to this part of the video, just drop, if it's only a single letter, in the comments. Like, let's flood the comments. I want to know what your letter grades are so I can report back next video. And I just want to load up the comment section. But even if you never comment on things, just put a letter in there. And if you're feeling generous with your time, give some reasons as to why you graded it the way you did. So Trump's doing what Trump does. He's playing hardball. $750 billion in energy exports, 0 tariffs on American cars heading to Europe, military, agriculture, manufacturing, all gaining ground. Trump used America's market access as leverage, and it was smart. But that's what a good negotiator does. And even the people who hate him know it. Meanwhile, the media has been warning of collapse, and when it doesn't come, they just shut up. And Scott was so right on when he said something about they'll scream all day about disaster, but when Trump succeeds, crickets. The crap they do on MSNBC and CNN is not journalism. It's narrative protection. I haven't seen any data or numbers recently specific to this, but I'd almost guarantee that 99% of Americans would say that they don't trust cable news. So Trump's getting results. His strategy isn't destroying the economy, it's rebalancing it. Exactly like he said what he wanted to do, and what all of us support him already knew. Even his critics are being forced to admit what many of us, again, already knew. He has a plan, and it's working. And we have reason to celebrate. This isn't just a win for Trump. It's a win for American workers, American farmers, American manufacturers. It proves that standing up to the global elite doesn't mean economic collapse. It means economic strength. The truth is slowly breaking through. And that should give all of you just a little more hope. But what do you guys think? Just let me know what you think about this whole clip. But more importantly, leave in the comments your letter grade for how Donald Trump's done this far. And if you have a couple extra seconds, give a couple reasons to justify your grade. Anyway, that's it for this video. Support the channel. Subscribe to my second channel, The Dispatch Wire. And anytime you're shopping Amazon, click on my Amazon affiliate link. No other announcements today. Otherwise, as always, thank you all so much for taking some time out of your day to watch my video. It means a lot to me. Never ever forget, Jesus loves you. See you guys.